All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, and I'm definitely happy and grateful for all of you being here with me this evening as we dive into the charts and take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we could take advantage of in the Forex market. So, without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper for notes, and let's make sure that we continue to do an amazing job of participating and engaging. If everybody can hear me loud and clear, as always, participate right away. Drop me a 1 in the chat, and we can get tonight's session going so we can see what's out here in this market. And I hope everybody had a great day. All right, so here we go. All right, so you guys can hear me loud and clear. Let me exit out of this and we can dive right into the Forex Factor. Again, today, not much, fairly light day. But the one thing tomorrow, okay, you can tell by the way the market has been moving that tomorrow you've got some ECB monetary policy meeting accounts coming up. You've got preliminary GDP, okay, Q over Q. So for those of you who don't know what that is, all right, it's the annualized change in the value of all goods and services produced by the economy. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency, okay, released quarterly about 60 days after the quarter ends, okay. So while this is Q over Q data is reported in an annualized format, right? Quarter change times 4. The previous listed is the actual from the advanced release, and therefore the history data will appear unconnected. There are 3 versions of GDP released a month apart: advanced, preliminary, and final. The advanced release is the earliest, okay, and thus tends to have the most impact. All right, so that's why it is a red folder. It's the biggest measure of economic activity and the primary gauge of the economy's health. Very important, okay? So we'll see how that comes out tomorrow, see if it comes out below or above forecast. We've got some unemployment data coming to us as well for the United States, but, okay, the big thing, okay, now at 6:30 tomorrow, we do have Reserve Bank of New Zealand, Governor Orr speaking. That's important, but the big show starts tomorrow, okay, the Jackson Hole Symposium. Okay, I think they confirmed. So you get a lot of your central bankers. Okay, Bailey will be there from the Bank of England. I know they confirmed today that the Bank of Japan president will be there. So it'll be an action-packed weekend. Now, one of the things that I want you all to think about is that because I tend to scale into positions for the most part. So really, it's fine to me because I'm not putting that much on the table in the beginning. But if you are a trader and you're trading a little bit heavier and you hold trades over the weekend, just know that sometimes when these events occur over the weekend, you can, if something comes out of there that's impactful to the market, you can come out of there with gaps coming into gaps in the price action coming in following the weekend, right? Because the market's closed, but then you can see that reaction and you'll have gaps on your chart. So just be careful with that. If you're trading a pretty sizable account and you're risking quite a bit of money, just know that there's a possibility that can happen. Okay. So, and then on Friday, we've got core PCE coming out, PCE price index. And then at 10 a.m. on Friday, we got Chairman Powell speaking, and just ahead of the Jackson Hole Symposium. So you never know what they're going to say that'll move the market, but everybody will be keying in. You can tell by the way the markets are moving a little bit, okay, a little tighter. You can tell, right, that it's just ahead of a major event, and that Jackson Hole Symposium is huge. So you see a lot of big time investors a little bit hesitant in regards to putting that money on the line when we've got an event like that coming up. So just keep all that in mind. If we go over to trading economics, we say U.S. durable good orders below forecast. That's another sign of the tightening. Okay, so you can see is the lowest performance in 5 months, mainly due to a 0.7% drop in transportation orders. Meanwhile, orders from non-defense capital goods, excluding aircraft, a proxy for investment in equipment increased by 0.4%, easing from a 0.9% advance in June, but slightly higher than forecast. So kind of mixed there. UK car production rises for the third straight month. This will be interesting. On Thursday, 6:30, hearing from the Reserve Bank of New Zealand Governor Orr. Just after this report, New Zealand retail sales declines the most in 2 years. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say. So we could see some movement tomorrow on the New Zealand dollar. Okay, that is pretty much it. Again, light day on the fundamental front. Any questions regarding fundamentals or anything that anybody would like to add that they might have read about? Good. All right. So give me 1 second here. There we go. Make the co-host. Ryan, you're live.
What's up, bro? Just listening.
What's up, man? I got you, man. I'm with you, man. Everybody was praying and sent their well wishes last night. So
greatly appreciate it.
Yep.
Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. Good to hear your voice, man. Cool. So let's get it moving on the charts. So we're coming to take a look at the US dollar. Hey, we spotted the possibility of a harmonic, and it's kind of just hanging around that level, right, that we called out. So you got your nice cipher pattern there, and we see we're starting to kind of form that. We get one more day to close, we'll have a swing high there. Maybe we come back to retest this level here, this daily level. Okay, so maybe we do, right? It's fighting, doesn't want to, but maybe we do see that correction in the dollar to retest that level. So that's where we are. It's just kind of just bouncing around. Here it is on the 4. Okay, spotted that 80-20 off of these fibs here. But in essence, when you're running your patterns, it's more so like that, right? Okay, so that's where we are. See if we can get a further correction to the downside to retest that level. Dollar strong, so we'll see how that goes. Any questions on the US dollar? No. All right, awesome. So let's go through. I'm going to go through some key pairs because things are starting to settle in a little bit. We're going to take a look at those euros again, as well as they're running into those lows. As far as the euro dollar, right, they're selling off. Not finding as many buyers right now, but I'm just trying to figure out exactly what else could be priced in to push the euro too much further to the downside. And I know if you get any positive news coming out of the war zone with the Ukraine and Russia, I just think the price on the euro is going to fly if anything positive comes out of there. But that's yet to be seen. It's sitting at key support levels. So I have started to drip some positions in on some of those euro pairs, and we'll take a look at those. Okay. But before we get to those euros, I want to pop up to this Aussie NZD that got posted in the Telegram. So if we come to the daily, well, we'll start at the weekly. If we come to the weekly, it's pushing this 111, this 111.81 level hard. Okay, it's testing this level. But if you zoom out, okay, you see where it's held before. So it's just a matter of, does it want to fall in line with past history? And maybe you only get a short-term correction to the downside before it continues up. Maybe it's more medium to long-term. We don't know yet, but this is a key level, okay, of resistance. So iron at 111.81. If we come to the daily, put the fib on it, you can see that it's pushing and testing this level. Okay, I do want to put the, let me put my stochastic on here. It is definitely, right, moving into that overbought zone, 89%. Okay, so not quite 100%, but it is over 80%. So it's just a matter of whether it wants to move higher and break that level, or if we get it to hold, form a high, and if it drops off. Okay, so the key is identifying the zone, and then we wait for confirmation if we're looking to take a shot at the counter trend move here. Okay, this is a choppy move on the 4, but again, as we always say, that's the Aussie NZD, but the story is the same. We're coming into a key level structure. Maybe we push off this level and come back and retest 111.32, which is a daily level in red. Okay, maybe that happens. We don't know, but we're in that classic 80-20 zone. So we'll see if it has enough momentum to push through 111.81 into the D extension, or if it's going to hold and give us a nice size correction. Okay, so off your highs, 46 pips, back down close to 80 pips to that 382. All right, so just continue to watch that one, whether you're using trendline breaks, whether you're using the cloud technique that we taught you guys. However you want to play it, is sitting in that position. So this is one that we know when we see that, okay, we want to make sure that we identify it and that we're ready to take advantage of it if we like trading those 80-20s. Any questions on that? Good evening, Kiki. All right, so clear? Okay, so just continue to be patient. Continue to be patient. The market will give you what you're looking for, but you got to know what you're looking for, right? Okay. Shauna, good evening. Now, let me go, and I want to come down to this CAD yen. Just so we have this on the radar from the weekly level. Okay, weekly chart, I mean. We're pushing, right? We formed this low and we're pushing up. So I just want to have this on everybody's radar that we're starting to get right back up to some major highs on some of these pairs. Okay, so that's what we're looking like from the weekly. And good night. Thanks for joining us. And we are coming into, so from the weekly, you're looking at that 107.63, but we at that monthly level, I mean, but we do have this 106.60, okay, weekly level in blue. All right. Now, if we look at this daily fib, okay, we're in that 80-20 zone, and it's just hovering in this area. Okay. So keep an eye on this one, because when it gets to this 106.60, maybe we get a reaction back to the downside. Okay. But we've been sitting up in this level ranging for quite some time. So maybe this just becomes, if it reaches this weekly level, maybe, right, this becomes just a range play. Okay. It's a huge range, almost 400 pips. Okay. But we continue to push and test these highs with these yen crosses. All right. So if it gives us this again, all right, we take advantage of that, all right, on our lower time frames. So just continue to keep an eye as it's pushing into these highs. Okay. Into these highs. All right. So I don't even have fibs on these lower charts because of just how it's ranging. I already know where we are from the daily. So I'm just looking for a strong reaction to the downside and some signs that it's time for this price to correct. So here's the 1 hour. Here's my inner trend line. Okay. And you can see it's just moving sideways, but we're still hovering above this inner trend line. So as long as it continues to test this trend line and move up, we're going to let that happen. Right. And there's that 106.60 level. And if we get there and we break, then what I'm looking to do, okay, so if we get to this level, then at that point, I'm start looking for trend line breaks of support. And so then I'll run my fibs in a downward direction, knowing where I am on the daily, knowing that I have a AB Fibonacci on the daily. We're sitting at some highs. We're in an 80-20 scenario on the daily. We're caught in a range. So this is what I'm looking for. Okay, looking for price to react. Then I'll deploy my fibs to the downside because I'm looking for a larger correction. Okay. Any questions on that?
No.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So the next one is I want to go back to the switch in. Okay. All right. Mary spotted this, been hovering at some highs, right? We've already started to see, okay, this price start to fall a little bit. Now, if we zoom out and we look at this, okay, right, it's a fresh high. So if I come out to the monthly, get a better view. All right, here's the low, here's the high. We're sitting right back at that extreme high again. So now it's just a matter of we get a correction to the downside. And if we look on a daily, similar ranging type price action, we're in an 80-20 type scenario. We got to break it at beat boundary. We're not quite right up into that 118, 127 zone, but we did break that beat boundary and we're just stalling out a little bit. And you can see that we now have another swing high that formed. 143.59 level. It is holding right now. So if you come down, doesn't look like much on the daily, but if you start to work your way down through the zones, you can see how it's starting to correct. So again, okay, here was the 1 hour play off the AB boundary. So we're starting to move down a little bit off that level. Okay. So it's just a matter of it wants to sustain itself. So if you ran an up AB Fibonacci, right, just kind of get you some extra confluence, identifying the AB boundary at that level, here's your reversal. Now, if price wants to continue moving down, it's going to take that A out, but then it's just going to continue. Okay, so we see where that's at. We've already got this to turn over. So you don't, once you've identified that, and you got your game plan from your higher time frame, this might just be, hey, this is what I'm looking for, right? I might just be looking for these breaks and these pullbacks for an opportunity for me to get long, like this. Okay. So your 1 hour, you see it starting to move down already. Okay. Boom. Choppy. But that's all the price action that's happened. Okay, since that move was identified, and now it's coming off those highs. Okay, so we may see at least right down to this 140.38 maybe, and we may start crashing through some levels. But that's how with some of these yen crosses, I want to play these because they're pushing into extreme highs. Okay, there we go. So that's what your one looks like. We haven't, right? Your 1 hour. This is your 4. Okay. So you see here this trend line. This is your 1 hour trend line here that you just saw, like that. Yeah. That's your 1 hour trend line. So we've got a break. And now it's just a matter of, hey, inner to outer trend line. That'll put you right at that 140.38 support level. Okay. So we'll see if we continue to get downside pressure on this switch in. Questions? Denise, yes.
Is the reason, you see how you drew those lines sort of anticipating what the market was going to do? Is the reason that you know it might do that is because it did it before?
It did it before, yep. And we're using these higher time frame levels, right? So we're just identifying, like, you know what? These, when you look at historically here, there's nothing behind it, right?
Okay.
We just know that, look, it broke that high a while ago, right? We tracked that. Then it came into these levels and it broke and it formed new highs. Okay, so like when we always start our charts out from the top down, we mark our extreme low and our extreme high.
Right.
So it created a whole new high. So now it's just battling at this level. See it there, how it's just hanging out?
Yes.
So what we're just saying is, you know what, man, that's a pretty high level. In essence, we're thinking to ourselves, when might some relief come? It may continue bullish,
Okay.
right, over the long term, but man, there may be some profit taking soon. Okay, you can see it happen here. You can see it happen here. Now we're here again. Okay, we're sitting pretty high, so we can look to play those corrections, or you can wait for a low price and try to get long. But it's hard for me just over the years knowing that these moves occur so often for me to pass up those moves when it hits key zones like this. I'd like to take advantage of that, right? People selling off, taking profit at these levels. So, and you can see here that it's forming that swing high, right? That 5 candle combination. You see it to your left. This might be the high, right? So 2 to the left, you got your 2 to the right. And you see how it's, so that really just gave you, that's a daily level of resistance. So if I put in smart resistance there, it's going to give you that level. So this is starting to get, right, kind of strong, right? And it's all probability, right? So we're like, oh, this is starting to hold a little bit. So maybe we get a reaction to the downside, at least back to 140.38. And if it breaks through, then we look for a continuation. We know that price likes to seek out that 382. Okay. So that's more like your longer term target. Maybe it gets back to this 382 or deeper.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how we're identifying that. Just looking at the levels.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So we can bring that daily level down now. Here. Put the dailies in red, like so. There, link that down. Okay. So it's pretty strong. You've got a high there too, but we'll just leave it there for now. Yeah. So we got the trend line break to the downside. So we'll see if we get price to continue to at least to that support, and then we manage the trade from there. Okay. Maybe if you're on your 1 hour, you're just playing this AB, this C to D move, right? You got the pull back there. Maybe we target this D extension, which is pretty much in the zone of that support. Okay. Hey, Mary, glad your internet came back. Awesome. I was having problems with mine too earlier this week. So that's where we are on the Swiss yen. And so you guys see how this is not moving, right? You see how this is moving from bottom left, right, up the top right on my chart. And now you see how this is just moving across the middle of my chart. That's just ranging. Okay, that's just ranging. So you could just play your levels, your support and resistance levels here. See how it's running into resistance, and now it's starting to break down through some levels here. Just broke that level here, right back down to this daily support. Okay, so this is how you can play those: bottom to top, top to bottom. All right. So that's the Swiss yen. All right. Now I want to jump into these euros. Okay. And these have the potential to be big moves, right? Where we just accumulate pips and we add to the positions. All right. So we don't put the house on them right now, right? We calculate our risk, drop that 0.25% or whatever, and then we see if it wants to go our way. See if our technical analysis is correct. But if we're wrong, okay, we don't want to be big time wrong. We don't want to blow up our accounts because these moves are big. It's not 5 and 10 pip moves. Once it gets going, you can always scale into that trade and add to it later. Okay. All right. So let's go. Yes. Yep. What's up?
Off that trend line break there, have played it if to the downside if it would have created a swing low like after that trend line break?
Like a swing low, like right now, where it is now, or
yeah, just as it was going down.
Yeah, you could play it right? So you could play it aggressively off the trend line break, right?
Okay.
You just want to put your stop, like, so you've got, this is kind of crazy here, but you could put your stop above the high prior to the trend line break, right?
Okay.
So for an aggressive entry, so you might come in and say, I need a break bearish, break and close bearish. That's a good one right there. That one, that's kind of a sideways move. That's a break and close bearish there. So when you do it like that, because eventually price likes to pull back, okay? But when you do it like that, you could come in and say, I'm just going to say you enter there, boom. I'm going to put my stop, okay, above the previous high, like this, okay? So you look at that and you measure that and you say, you know what, okay, it's like, call it 60 pips. Then I'm looking for 120 to the downside. That'll put me in a 2-to-1. Okay, so you can do that. Knowing though, on a big move like this, if that moves 120 pips, it's gonna have a period where it pulls back.
Right.
Okay, so you can't, you can't be like, oh my goodness, I'm losing money, losing my money. You calculated your risk. You want to keep yourself in a proper risk to reward ratio, right? Because it's about a series of trades, not just one. All right, so over time, that's how you make sure that you can make some money consistently. Now, once you say you enter aggressively off that break, let me take this back off. You enter aggressively off the break. Now the trade is running. Okay, it's running down. So if you're looking to hold that for 120 pips or so, I know that, hey, price is going to pull back. So what you can do is you can use these fibs either on your 1 hour or your 15 or however you want to play it. So now this is my initial entry. Whenever I do get a pullback to my zone, okay, then I can start to scale into that trade and add another position, right? See?
Thank
So
you.
now you're welcome. You're welcome. So that's how you can play it. You can always make the aggressive entry off that trend line break. Okay. That's kind of that 1, 2, 3 that we were talking about last night, that 1, 2, 3 entry where price breaks your trend line, you get a bearish candle close on the backside of that trend line, and then you can use an additional, some people use a MACD, some people I was taught to use a stochastic. Okay, that was really the only main indicator. So I'm looking at this point where that trend line breaks is, where's my stochastic? So sometimes you can use that to get you in a position, right? I definitely don't want to be, I don't want to have my stochastic running on me out of a buy zone, right? Being in my buy zone when I'm trying to short. Okay, I definitely don't want to be in that. All right, if you're using that as an extra confirmation. And then you have some people that say, hey, if I get a trend line break, I'm shorting, I don't need the additional confirmation. So however you want to draw it up in your trade plan and make your rules, right? We just always urge people to, hey, however you do it, just be consistent so that you can get good data so you can do the proper analysis after a series of trades. Okay. So it's hard to get consistent data, right, if you have 50 million different variables, okay, that you're dealing with. So yep, so that's how you can enter aggressively off of that. But when you look at this fib, right, it's structured to the downside still. That's structured to potentially move down. Okay? So if you took that position aggressively at 60 pips, right, that's 170 to that level. Right? So that'll put you in your range that you needed off that aggressive break for your 2-to-1 based on where you have that stop. And then, right, as it continues to progress down, right, you don't have to leave your stop up there. You just continue to move it down. So you move it this high here, and then as it continues to move down, once this pushes down some more, then maybe you roll it in behind it above your highs here. That way, if price pulls back on you and eventually stops you out, you don't want to do it too tight because it can knock you out of a good trade. But if price stops you out, at least you're at break even, so you don't lose anything on the trade or you're making money. Okay, so you're welcome. You're welcome. Great question. So that's the Swiss yen. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to go into these euros and take a look at these euro Aussies, keeping a close eye on them. Because, right, if we come and we keep revisiting this, right? We're coming into key levels here. This is a double bottom at a monthly level, just 143.19. Okay. So I needed to prove to me that it's got more momentum to the downside and it's going to break that level. Otherwise, look, we've got a visit at 143.19 here. We pushed up, we failed to break out above 153, and then it came right, it's right back at this level now. Okay, so we'll see if it's going to respect it. If you look at the daily, okay, we don't have a 382 yet. We broke the B boundary, but here's a zoomed in view of that double bottom. Now you've got a daily level at 143.91 that's just creating a zone. Okay, so we're not quite at that monthly level yet, but we're in the zone. And you can see prices starting to settle down a little bit. So we'll continue to watch that to see if it wants to push through or if it holds. If you come to the 4, right, you can see it real good. So if we zoom out on this 4, I think I took my my fibs out because I just want to look at structure and then I know where I am. But now how you can play this is we've got the push up, failed to break out, came right back down to this level. So what you could do is you could drop down to your lower time frames. You could play it off your 4. Okay. You could play it off your 1, your 15, however you want to do it. But now we're looking for a reversal. Okay. If this is going to hold, we want to see price reverse. Okay. Now you can see here where here's your major double bottom zone here. But you can see here where it's even right here is retested this daily level of 143.91. Okay, so what you could do is you could come down to your 1, all right, and you could draw your trend line like so. Okay. We got too close, so I have to manually draw it. Like that. Sometimes you'll get this trend line with the smart trader. It'll do it like that. Okay, because you got highs that are real close, right, in this area. So if I zoom in, so see if you got multiple highs there. So if you ever wonder, like, why did I just draw my trend line like that? Because it's just, right, that's just the way it works. You got pretty much three equal highs. So it took it straight across those highs and then straight out. So what you have to do in that case is you just come in and you just manually draw it. Okay. And we want to work our trend line through the lowest low of this move. Okay. So here's that high. We'll just pull it out and we're going to bring it down to the second touch, which is right there. Okay. Like so. Now, if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, you could draw in a trend line here, like that. Okay. So if it stays below here and it breaks this 143.91 level, finally, that's okay. Next level we want to see is, hey, does it make it? Does it take out this lower support? Does it get all the way back down to this 143.19? If so, that's okay. All right. So maybe we get, all right, we're in no rush. We're patient traders. Okay. We're going to let these trades come to us and fall in our lap. So maybe it wants to just break and continue down. All right. Well, we'll revisit the opportunity at 143.19. Now, it could sustain itself, right, somewhere in the zone, and then we break. So if we break, what we want to look for, okay, is we want to look for this break here, break up your trend line, close. We want to start taking out highs, right? This becomes a swing high here. We want to take it out. We want to break through these levels. These are resistance levels here. So put in your resistance, you can see it, okay? This one's already starting to form. It's anticipating that this is going to be a swing high, okay? Now, here's this zone. So what you want to see is you want to see price explode and push through some zones, and then you want to see it come back to you. Okay? Then, okay, we could throw our fib on, see if we can get it to a level. But even at that point, if you want extra confirmation, then, right, so if you're using a cloud, it might be a cloud break, right? So Then once we get that impulse move up and that pull back to retest some levels, then you could draw an additional trend line like this. Just be patient. Draw a trend line like that. And then you can 1, 2, 3 it, right? 1, I need that trend line to break. Okay, boom. 2, need to close bullish. 3, maybe I'm using stochastic. I want that stochastic to be in the buy zone, or I want that MACD, right? I want to see divergence, right? If you're a divergence trader or whatnot. So that's what we're looking for. Then we're looking for it to get long. Okay. Then it just depends on how much you want to narrow it down, right? To your waves here, however you want to take them from that point. But that's what we're looking for, that type of price action. A push up to break through some levels and a pullback and then a continuation to put us in this buy zone now, okay? Because right now we're on that opposite side of the trend line, sell zone. Okay? We want to see if price can reverse and break into our buy zone. Okay. Our buy zone, like that. And then we can go from inner to outer trend line, like that. Okay, see if we can get a move up. But be patient and wait. Again, if you want to put the cloud on, you can do that. Put your cloud on. Wait for your confirmations, then look to get long. Okay. Any questions on the Euro Aussie? Like we always say, we get paid to wait. Okay. All right. So we're good. EuroCAD. Okay. We got a break. Okay, so this is on year 1. So we got the break. So now it's like, hey, do we want to continue? See? Do we want to continue to get long? See how we pulled back to the backside of this trend line now? Okay, see how that bullish, that bearish candle came right back down into the hell? Do we get a continuation of this swing? So now, if you're willing to wait on these, okay, at your 80-20 zone, see that? Very shallow retracement. We got to break it at B boundary. And now we're at this 118, 127 zone. So if you're willing to wait, once price gets to these zones, if you're willing to wait for those breaks and those pullbacks or a break of a cloud, then you can tighten that stop up a little bit. Okay. You can tighten that stop up because you're going to put that stop below the low, the last low prior to the trend line break, like that. So in essence, if you wait on your pullback, you're putting your stop below the A. So you can work out your risk to reward. So here we are in the zone. We got a 786 on that. So we're thinking here, okay? But ultimately the target is that 382. Okay? So we're thinking, wow, 786, we enter somewhere around there, 34, 35, that's 82, that's 113. Okay? You consistently find yourself in these situations, okay? You use proper risk management. Once you set your trade up, if you let it just do what it needs to do, you'll make money. You'll make money. Okay. Your risk management's worked out. We're dividing our risk by stop loss. I know that if I lose, I'm at 1/4%, 0.5%. If I can live with that, hey, 1%, I have to lose 100 trades in a row to blow my account at 1%. Okay. Let's think about that. Be patient, wait for your setups, okay? You're not gonna lose 180 20s in a row. It's not gonna happen. I'll put that out there. So it's worth the wait. Any questions on the EuroCAD? See how that plays out. Okay. If it doesn't, hey, that might be telling us, hey, we're chasing weekly support. Okay, that's the game we play. That's the game we play. All right. No questions? All right. All right. Want to take a look at this Euro GBP. Right, we marked that up last night. We've got some good, right? That's a decent move for the for the Euro pound. It's a decent move. It's a slow moving pair. But that's positive, right? We got that break back above 84.24. So right now that long position looks pretty good after that deep correction. That's all you can do, everybody. We don't control the market. Do your analysis, okay? Put yourself in the best position, area of highest probability based on your trade plan. Enjoy, boo. I know, right? I couldn't pass on it though when I saw that. It is rare that you get something that looks decent out of the Euro GBP. Yeah, yeah. So hey, plan your trade, trade your plan. That's all. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. So that's where we are in a Euro GBP. We'll see if it wants to continue to. Oh, your broker froze you. Oh man. Sorry to hear that. It's all good. It's all good. All right. So that's it. Just wanted to touch base on that one real quick. I know we have marked that up in the session. So we'll see how that continues to move throughout the rest of the week. Okay. Man, right when you're about to take the entry, it's all right because we know that's going to pull back. It might pull back and retest 84.24 again. Give you another opportunity to get long. Okay, take a quick look at this Euro USD. Right, we're getting a reaction off this weekly level. We've already gotten a 382. Okay, on this. So the question is, if we correct, do we just come back to this level here? Right, so do we work our way back to this level here and then a move back down? I'm not sure if we get that harmonic type move all the way back up to 106. Okay, I guess I could see if it got range bound within from 99 to 103, but I don't know. But you can never say never. Okay, but right now I don't see that type of momentum. Maybe against some of the other Euro crosses, but against the dollar, I'm not sure if that'll do it. But like I said, you don't know. We've got the symposium coming up this weekend, so you never know. But I could be wrong in that. But what I'm thinking is we could get that reaction, but maybe back to this zone, and then maybe it turns back over and continues to the D extension off that 382. So we'll continue to monitor that. But I would rather let that, being that we've already got a 382, I would rather let that pull back and then look to get short on that Euro USD. That's just my take on it, right? Like I said, could be wrong on that. All right. So just continue to watch to see if we get that correction. I'll be looking here in this area. Okay. Past support area becoming future resistance. All right, to see if that holds. If it can work its way back there, it may not. That's that. Any questions on Euro USD? It's been bearish for quite a long time. Question in the Q&A. Can you clarify what you mean by harmonic type move? Yeah. So we always say that when you get those harmonic patterns, you've got a fight between the bulls and the bears within your AB boundary. Okay. So when you see it, see how this is your clean ABCD move. Right? So where's my tool? That's my label. I don't want that. Here's your tool. So this would represent a clean ABCD move. Say it even came off this 382 straight to your D extension there, like that. Okay. Straight to your D extension. So it breaks out and it goes all the way to its respective and correlating D extension at 1.618. That's your ABCD move. But what will happen from time to time is that you've got that fight. So here's my, right, for your harmonics, now it becomes an X to A, okay, A to B, okay, and you see that would be my C to D traditionally in the ABCD move, but we don't quite get that breakout. Price wants to revisit a higher price within that AB boundary like that, okay, so you get a harmonic type of setup there, okay, then you get your correction, because that's how you find those moves. So if you've ever use like a harmonic scanner of any type. Okay. You see this leg here? See this? Look, A, B, C, D. Back up into the zone. This is where you get your harmonic positions at and your targets. Now, tell me this doesn't look familiar, right? This is why we teach it like this. This is how we know AB boundaries are powerful. Because when you use something like a scanner, it does something like this. It'll have your zone. Right? Let me draw this out. Okay. Because it's like you're learning it, and sometimes you don't even realize you're learning it, right? So it'll have this zone, like so. And it will, okay. I like that a different color, give you something like this on your pattern. So this is your harmonic pattern like that. And right, look, A, B, C, D. My C becomes my new A, my D becomes my new B, A, B boundary. But the harmonic setup will give you something like this. Here's my zone. It'll say what? This is my minimum entry. This is my maximum entry. And then what it'll do is it'll measure, it'll look at the high, right? And it'll do what? Put your stop loss out there. Bang. Okay. Now, that look familiar to anybody? Drop me a 1 in the chat. Okay. So now, this is your AB boundary. How does it set your targets up? It'll say target 1. What? It's your 382. Your target 2 is your 61.8. And your target 3 is the bottom of that boundary. Just like that. Right? That's why you see us post AB boundaries and things like that so much. This is powerful. So now we already know this, right? Now look. See, you guys know how to find it by yourself though. So now it's just a matter of, here's my AB boundary. Do I get it to turn over at my minimum entry price right away? Or do I do what? Do I get price to correct and push up to my maximum entry, which is in essence an 80-20, and then push down? That's it. So you guys are like your own harmonic scanner already. Okay. So in essence, okay, okay, there's harmonic patterns that form all throughout these levels. The fibs just gives you a the large price action, but there's harmonics all throughout these levels. So this would be the same as this, right? So that AB, see how that worked off of there in that harmonic? Well, this would be just like me saying, okay, let me clear this out. Okay. Really, really understand the power of what you guys are learning. Okay, like this. Now, a lot of times when people do use harmonic scanners, now they blow up. They blow up because they're not patient. They blow up because they don't use proper risk management, and they want that right now money. But when you go back on some of those scanners and you look at the trades, move like 300 pips, right, over the next couple of weeks, but you were wanting it right now and you missed it. You didn't hold it, or you were over leveraged in the position. So look, okay, if this was that same type of setup, Boom. Okay. Look, you got an immediate reversal. That hits your target 1. Boom. On this fib. Right. So your B boundary is your minimum entry. Your 127 is your maximum entry. You put your stop outside of there. This trade hits target 1. Boom. 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 All right. It hit target 1. Okay. So now it's just a matter of, right, what I was talking about. Do we want to continue to push, or is this just a kind of a type 2 check back where it wants to check back in that zone and then it's going to take off again? That's the dilemma, right? Right, that I was putting out there for everybody is, what does it want? What does price want to do? Does it want to check back here? I'm thinking fundamentally, what can create enough momentum with the euro to push that back, to this 103 level or higher against the US dollar. I don't know yet. I have to do the research. But even here, so here's your capital fib. All right. So here's one of those type 2 setups that you have. See? Right here in the zone. You can, in essence, set that up the same way. Okay. They're all over the place. You can set it up the same way. Okay, so that's the power of the fibs. That's the power of the smart tool that we use inside of Smart Trader, because it's just gonna map them out for you. But that's why we trade AB boundaries, like here. Okay. Look. All right. So move this out. Move this up. Leave that. So in this particular setup, look at the move. Okay. Here. Minimum. Maximum. Okay. I'm gonna take a shot at my minimum entry at 1/4%. My game plan can be, okay, stops outside of here. Work out your risk management. I'm gonna take 1/4% here. If it pushes deeper, I don't mind the drawdown. I'm swinging. I'll put another 1/4% at the maximum entry. If it stops me out, I'm at 1/2%. Okay, I'm at 1/2%. But there's my target. Okay. 38.2, 61.8. They got me to target 1 before it continued. That's typically what you're trading when you're trading harmonics. Those type of setups. Reversals, you're trading reversals. Okay, which is what we do. There was another one there. Okay, that's it. Any questions on that?
Thank you, Benny.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anytime. So that's just like when you see, it keys you into so many things. So you can have a setup where, okay, move all this out of the way. You know, sometimes when we get price to move up in the zone like this, and you get that reversal, and you run your fibs. You see this here? All right. See that AB boundary? Okay. Same stuff over and over and over again. Okay. That's why we do things the way we do it, because we want you all to become your own traders, so you don't have to depend on anybody. Okay. So look. See? Now you can set your rules, right? Ryan identifies these all the time, especially when they reverse, okay? And they move up deep into your sell zone, and you'll get something like this. Okay, give you guys some nuggets and things like that to look for. So you get a wave, like so. So we get a wave, and we get an AB boundary like this. Okay. And you get something where price reverses. In order for price to move up, it's going to do it in a wave-like fashion. So you get your price start moving up. So you get your 80-20 scenario like this, and then it reverses. Well, at some point, it starts to work its way up. Like this, and it'll get into your zone. So it'll come into your sell zone, like so. So it'll do something like this. Okay. And it may move and form a high like that. Okay. And now price is moving up into your zone. So you got that 80-20 reversal. Well, if you look at it and you see this here, that type 2, and it pushes into your zone like that. Well, in essence, that's a what? 80-20. Okay. On your subfib, coming into your zone. So that's the same as doing this here. See? Boom. Because when we see that, no matter whether it's a type 1, type 2 fib, we're looking for a reaction to occur. See? To occur in that zone. So whether it's on your main capital AB boundary, okay, your main fib, or a type 2 that comes and pushes up in your zone, you can find those reactions over and over and over again in the market, right? So oftentimes you'll get this, where you'll have a new AB boundary, and you're looking at just like a classic harmonic type pattern where you'll have price kind of push down right off that AB boundary, and then it'll pull back like this. So say it'll come to like your 382, and then it'll pull back like so. And then it'll push down on you like that. Well, look. And this is one of the reasons why I like waiting, right? I don't trade off the 382s too often because this occurs. Because what just happened? Well, you just had an automatic pattern. Boom. Okay. In that case, that's a bat, right? You pull that middle down a little bit, you have a Gartley. Okay. So all of your harmonic patterns are derived from Fibonacci, the Fibonacci sequence and the levels, on the pullback levels and the extension levels. That's how you get harmonic patterns. So that's why we teach the Fibonacci sequence fundamentally, right, in the group. Because of that, you can build off of it from that point, right? So we know if we get that and it Gartley's down, then guess what? A, B, C, D. My C becomes my new A, my D becomes my new B, and then I can look for a potential long opportunity there. All right, that's how it works out. Okay, takes you some time to get it, but you'll get it. But if you just understand the basics of your fib sequence and that the market moves in ABCD waves, you'll start to see it. Just a little spatial intelligence. The more time you spend on the charts, you'll notice it playing out over and over again. All right, so great question. Hope that helps. All right. So done with that. Come on, 10 o'clock hour. Got a couple more that I want to look at. Okay, that's okay with everybody. I want to look at this pound Aussie. Okay, and from a longer term perspective, right? We're pushing into some daily lows, is revisiting this zone again. I'm just interested in seeing how much for, hey, is this gonna push or am I gonna get some price action? So if I wanna look at this from the 1, and right here, I was coming into this level, okay? So it becomes the same thing over and over again. Okay, we're gonna deploy that trend line, see if that level holds, okay? See if that level holds, and if it does, and we get that pop, then, okay, boom, we're looking for that ABCD wave like that on the backside. Okay. So sometimes it's like, man, I just want to just look at the price action, nothing else, and identify, right, those key patterns in the market, and then see if I can get a reversal off of it. Okay. And then you might say, all I want to do is play this one ABCD wave and I'm out. I'm not worrying about the rest. Okay. Or you might want to manage it back up to support, resistance, if that's what it wants to do. Okay. So that's one. Let's pay attention to the pound Aussie at that 170.13 level. All right. I want to go back before we wrap things up, and I want to take a look at this this NZD Swiss. Right, and we looked at this, right, and we noticed that it was starting to come up out of that zone, right? So this is why I like to identify those double bottoms, because there's always a chance that price could hold, especially if it's at a higher time frame level, weekly, monthly, daily, even your 4. Okay, gives you an opportunity to say, okay, this may hold and come up out of that zone, but right now it's trying to do its thing. Right? It's trying to do its thing. So keep an eye on that. We came in right at this 61.8 level. We formed a 4-hour low here. That's a swing low, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, and it's trying to push. So it's like, hey, am I in that C to D push zone? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Put yourself, work out your risk management, take the shot on the trade. Okay, not gonna lose $100 in a row. We got a little head and shoulders action there going, right? Left shoulder, head, okay, right shoulder. See if it can continue on this path to the upside. All right, so that's one to put on your radar as well. Okay. I was gonna wrap it up on this one, but I want to take a look at this Euro CAD because we were talking about this last night about the level of holding. Okay, and we said we want to see, right, this break and retest at this 129.83 level, and you see it didn't hold. So this is the type of move that we're talking about. You see it here? How it's, see? Boom. Okay. Yeah, I see that. Right. Right. See where that comes out. Yeah. So. Okay. Pull back. So maybe it pushes lower. Okay. Was it lower? So Max Gartley back. See there? Okay. Like that. See how it turned over? Trying to turn over in the zone. That's why that was a key level we wanted to watch to see, is it going to hold and continue up, or is it going to short and push back lower? So we'll see if it can push beyond this support level and continue to get lower. That is yet to be seen. All right. Okay. Because you do have the potential, a few different scenarios for How's it? Oh, hold on. For it to push down, right, and hold in the zone right here too. Right? So what happens at this low is going to be important. Right in the zone. So we could get that. No way to predict it, just have to wait. Okay. Any questions? Anything that we covered tonight? Nope. Good. Well, hope we all learned a little bit of something. Okay. Tonight, continue to be patient. The setups will come. Use proper risk management. Look for your setups. Okay. So even though we always go through a ton of pairs, you'll notice there's only certain, there's not all of them don't line up in the zones that we like to trade. Okay. You might come out of a weekly ritual with only 2 or 3 setups, right, that you're identifying for that upcoming week. Right. If everything works out, you take those. And then those trades may last a week. They may last 2 weeks. Right. For those bigger moves.
Hi,
that we
Benny.
like to play on the swings. Hey, what's up?
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. So
You're welcome.
this morning I was able to bag 300 pips on US 30.
Ooh.
So I like the trend line break. I prefer that better than any other thing. Yeah. If we can go on US 30, I put a trend line on from the top, and then it broke my trend line, the inner
Oh,
trend.
to the upside.
Yeah, from the top to
Yeah.
the low. Yeah.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
here.
Let me do something here. Let me take that off. Right. So just the power of the trend lines, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no. It works really well, especially when you learn how to draw them
Exactly.
properly.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Then I put another one, then I put another one. Yep.
And that's your aggressive inner trend line, right?
Yep.
Now, did you play it off the
Aggressive.
1 or
I
did you play it off the 1 or play it off the 15?
Exactly. Right. So from that move here to this trend line gave me about 300 pips.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and I put another one too. I think I had 4 trend lines. I put another one because I caught this one and I caught this one, and I'm still in the trade waiting for this trend line to break and take it to the next. I'm expecting it to come to the 3350 area.
Yeah.
Yeah, and continue to the downside.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome. So,
Thank
you
you.
got a new swing high resistance there, right?
Yes.
You got this level here. We're installing it now up against that trend line, that outer trend line. Great job. Great
Thank
work. It
you.
was a monster move to the downside, too.
It was. I caught some too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good work. The power of just waiting on your setups, right? Being disciplined. And you'll find that, hey, I'm not even trading a lot and I'm making more money.
Exactly.
That's the key. So manage the trade, right? Don't give it back. Don't
Thank
give it
you.
back. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for sharing that with us. Anything else before we log out for the night? Log off for the night. Great session, everybody. Well, that's it. I will be back with all of you 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning. Looking forward to it. We'll see what happens for the pre-New York session. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.